first Gibson, what guitar was that?
First Gibson was a Gibson L6S, and I bought it brand new, and it was, I think, $400. I don't know, I can't remember the price of it. $480 back in like the mid to late 70s. So it wasn't quite a Les Paul, which was twice that much back then. But the L6,
what sort of shape's that?
It was sort of a Les Paul shape, but it was flat, and it was it wasn't a
like a junior or something they call them. No,
it was a bit sort of body was a bit fatter than wider than a junior, but or a Les Paul. But not a popular guitar of the day, and I kept that guitar for a while, and I sold it to a friend of mine. But that was my first Gibson. It was.
I had a Japanese thing called, what was it? A Vantage.
Oh yeah.
Vantage it was called,
Yeah.
and I remember being so dodgy that I got in this band at the time. My class dismissed, and we actually got. We did better than anyone else in our neighbourhood and southern end of Brisbane, put it that way. We got some big supports at the time, and my mate and I, Grant Fitzpatrick, he had an Aria Pro bass, which is not too bad. But we're talking like we just started playing, and all of a sudden we're pretty good. And I remember saying, I'm going to be the guy that just runs the Vantage name. Like, I'll be that guy that, forget about all the good guitars, I'm going to be the Japanese cheap guitar guy. But no. I got a guild after a couple of years, which isn't even that great, but that was my first big name. A big large-bodied guitar. And I got that because I liked Brad Shepherd from Hoodoo Gurus.
Oh, yeah.
I really liked the way he stood, the whole deal, like the big guitar banging out there. And and so what do you play now? What's your favourite?
I'm using a Telecaster now, so the main reason why I'm using a Tele is because the sound of the Telecaster is naturally bright, and it sort of cuts through the band, so I can actually hear the guitar at low volumes and obviously at high volumes. So the guitar for me, I can actually, it's not as muddy. Well, I'm not saying Les Pauls are muddy, but the sound's a lot cleaner than a Les Paul or humbucker type guitar. So that's why I'm using a Tele, because I can hear it, hear it live, and I can always, even when recording, you can always hear that Telecaster out of the mix because it's so bright and it's got a distinctive tone. And although we do a lot of humbucker orientated guitar songs like Blink-182, and the Telecaster doesn't do too bad at reproducing them. You know what I mean? It's a little thinner, of course, but that's the nature of the guitar. But the Telecaster by nature is a very versatile guitar because it's used in everything from country music to rock. I think even Slipknot uses it. The guy at Slipknot, Jim Root, uses a Telecaster, but he uses a humbucker variety of it. But still, this basic shape, and that basic shape of the guitar hasn't changed since 1951 when Leo Fender first produced the guitar. So it's essentially the same instrument. You know, the electronics might have been modernised a little bit, but it's the same instrument since 1951, or I think they made them in 1950, but the first production guitars were 51 or 52, so
whenever you play you've got a one or two Les Pauls, whenever you play it, it's a funny thing. It sounds exactly the same, but it kind of brings it like a serious, that tiny little tone difference makes the band either a happy dance band or a bit kind of, my brow is a bit creased, I go, what's going on, this is a serious...
Yeah, the Telecaster is light and bright, but that's the nature of the guitar, and as I've gotten older, I tend to prefer that tone to a heavier tone, because playing a heavy tone live tends to, I don't know, I don't tend to hear it as much, and that's one reason why I want to tell you, because it's really bright and really sticks out your face. So.
That Vantage I had was a Les Paul copy, but it was a bit heavier than the Les Paul, and damn, it was hard on your shoulder. Just so hard.
My first Les Paul was, I bought it when I was 17 because I didn't have a licence, because I remember having to meet this guy at a railway station because I didn't have a car. And my first Les Paul weighs a tonne. So, but I mean, now they're making them with chambered bodies, meaning it's got a lot of air in it, if you know what I mean. They're not solid. Well, you can still buy the solid models, but they're making them chambered now, so it makes it a bit lighter, a bit easy to use. But
yeah, but they're definitely heavy.
oh yeah. That's the nature because they're a solid mahogany body normally.
Right.
So that what makes them so heavy. Whereas the Fender mainly used like ash and alder, which is the woods are quite light in comparison to mahogany. So, but yeah, that's the difference in weights and stuff. So it depends what you like to play and the tone you like, I guess. So, but,
You've been in 100. I don't know. You've been in cover bands,
Yep.
like serious 6-night-a-week cover bands. At the Titanic's here, we only do it like once every couple of weeks. But what? How do you rehearse? No, how do you learn new songs? Like with all those solos, you have to. And by the way, you're a note perfect solo guy.
well, what I do now, because it's years ago when I first started playing in bands, you used to get cassettes and you taped off the radio, and that's the way you tape the song off the radio and you made the cassette burn in the end. You know what I mean? Because you replay it so many times. But now it's relatively easy because there's websites called like YouTube and there's a few others that are dedicated to just guitar, and there's 9 times out of 10 there's some dude on YouTube telling you how to play the song. Although most of the time it's wrong, but you get the gist of the song because this dude's telling you how to play it or showing you how to play it and what key it's in or what tuning it's in, so it's all very fascinating. So you can dial up YouTube and you don't have to be that good a guitar player to learn a really complicated song because this guy's showing you how to play.
Right.
So it's like a note for note. And the good thing about YouTube, it's digital, so you can just keep going back to the same spot over and over and over and over again.
Are there solos that we do right now that you're just surprised by the guitarist who wrote the solo? Like how, like you know what I mean? Like all I know is the blues scale.
Yeah.
So that's it.
Yeah.
So and obviously there are all these funny scales. I keep hearing weirdo guitar players talk about Mixolydian.
Yeah. Well, they're all derived. All the Mixolydian and Dorian, all those Lydian, all those scales are based off that blues scale. It's just essentially the same notes, but they start at a different spot. So instead of starting like in an A blues scale, you start in A, for example, but they might start on a C, for example, and then that makes the scale change. You know what I mean? But anyway, I think melodically, a lot of the Angel stuff is really interesting because it sort of interweaves with the chords really, really well, and I think the guy to the Angels.
I agree.
Yeah, he's a bit of a solo craftsman. He's not like a lot of these solos you hear. Records are probably just improvised, but there's no way he would have improvised those solos in No Secrets
and he can sing to them like they've got a really nice melody line.
Yeah, they're definitely. And he goes out of the scale like. He goes from major to minor, but he also goes out of that to suit the chord underneath the track. So it's especially No Secrets. It's quite a melodic guitar solo, and if you don't play it note for note, people go, "Oh, that wasn't right," you know. Whereas a lot of the songs I just improvise and sort of get away with it. But definitely the Angels for me is that's the only stuff I'm playing in a cover band that's quite melodic and it's quite recognisable too, because a lot of people know the solo. Because it's so melodic, it's not like a bunch of notes played really fast, like a lot of Metallica solo to a certain degree. You can sort of get away with doing a little bit different there, but the Angels we're working on No Secrets at the moment, and that solo, and that's quite very melodic. So I'm
going to name drop now, but I did a few days in Sydney in like '96, and I had to drive the Angels around and be their stage manager, but it was just a bunch of radio shows.
Oh, yeah.
So I had to tune up their guitars. I was shitting myself. I didn't know anything, but I knew how to tune my own guitar. That's it. And I just crapped my way into this job for this. We sort of had their tour manager was our wannabe manager for about a year. I can't remember his name now. Anyway, so I had a van in Sydney, and the Angels were about to do this radio show all through Sydney for the Mr. Was it Mr. No. I think they did a tour, Mr. Damage tour.
Oh, yeah.
But it was before then, because we ended up actually playing for the Angels for the Mr. Damage tour. So anyway, I'm not trying to wank on, but I found here I am, me, Doc, Brent Eccles was the drummer there, but John, the rhythm guitarist, the brother,
Brewster.
Yeah. Well, it was his first time back with the band.
Oh, okay.
So I could tell, because we had to wait in these little radio waiting rooms. I had to tune all their acoustic guitars. They were doing acoustic sessions in Radio 2UE, 2SM. There were two more for these 2 days in Sydney, and then they did a show at the Saloon Bar, it was called then. Richard Wilkins owned this place. Anyway, I was shitting myself because this was the Angels. I had to tune all their instruments and set them up, and we were often in like one little waiting room in the radio station about to go live, and they're going, "Have you tuned it? Have you tuned it?" "Yeah, man, I've tuned it." But the Rick Brewster, he was really cool. He never gave me pressure. John was a bit tough on me, but he was a bit older, so he was just a bit like a bit of an old bitch, I thought he was, but he was fine, you know. But I was so under stress. But Doc Neeson, he actually had so much guitar knowledge. I had no idea.
Really?
He was talking guitars all days. You know, he asked me in the end what sort of guitar I had, and before I could even say a Guild, he went, "Oh, what Starfire, the Cutaway, the 65, and just went right into it. So I found him to be this really sort of multi-layered guy, but they were frightening days. But I think they were I didn't see AC/DC play, but I saw the Angels play long before I even got into a band too. And the way they did it, the way they commanded the stage with Doc with his big maracas. Like, who held maracas? Seriously, in a rock band? Seriously. But that dude could just get away with it and swing across the stage with his towel around his neck. There's nothing like it. And how about if someone... I saw him do it twice. Once when we supported him at St. George. Someone threw something on stage. It didn't actually hit him, but he pretended it did, and fell on the floor and had to be carried off by a roadie, and then all the crowd was like, no, what's happened? And they nearly like rioted, but then they came back on and did their encore. Like, he would bleed the crowd for, and this is just a general show at the end of the 90s, so they were coming out off, they still had big crowds, but they knew their golden days were kind of finished. I don't think they had any big singles from that day on. But they were a great band, mate.
Yeah, infighting within the band.
And
who owned what, where, and all that sort of stuff.
And the idea that AC/DC and the Angels were playing at the same time, so you've got Angus Young jumping around everywhere. But I think that's sort of how Rick Brewster came about, just standing there, which became the coolest rock move of all time. Sunglasses, don't move at all, and just look in funny sort of ways.
Yeah.
So powerful. Yeah, it's funny how Aussies, obviously our generation still thinks they're really cool, but it's a shame how I don't really hear anyone talking about the Angels right now in the younger guitar players. Well, for all I know, they do. Let's face it, who knows? Maybe it's not so mysterious anymore, because we used to just pass records around and play old tapes, and now you can just look it up.
Yeah, just you get on any website and you can virtually learn the whole catalogue. And there's even on YouTube, people show you how to learn Angel songs, and that's Australian stuff. So there's no secrets, pardon the pun, anymore.
Oh, he's here all night. All right, mate, let's turn this off. Anything you want to say about the gig tonight?
I hope it's rocking.
Yeah. I know there's actually about 7 people have told me they're coming.
Oh, cool.
There's 3 from one group and 4 from another group, and maybe more.
And look,
I think they're just alcoholics. Oh, the Angels! There's a big billboard, the Angels, but I didn't recognise that guy's face. I wonder if it's the other Angels. You know, there's 2 Angels.
That'd be Dave Gleason, because Doc's dead.
Oh, of course. Yeah, right.